Stop beating yourself up. This is a video recorded after the last one, but I want to talk about this video about people with hindsight vision. They look back in themselves and they're like, damn, I'm such a freaking idiot. Why did I act like that? Why did I do that? Or, oh my gosh, I'm so freaking stupid. I do this a lot myself, even to this day. But I want to say, stop beating yourself up. Just stop, bro. You're just hurting yourself. It doesn't really improve you as a person, right? And it doesn't really, it's just not good. Because a lot of people, for example, with hindsight bias, let's give an example. Maybe you're like trading markets or whatnot, and you took like a setup and you thought, oh, it was going to go up, and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to take a position and go long here. But then it actually went down and you got stopped out. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so freaking stupid. Why didn't I realize that the RSI indicator was oversold there and there was showing a little bit of weakness? Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. But I want to say is that, yeah, you're stupid in hindsight. But at the moment when you took that decision, you thought it was the best decision and the best course that you could have taken at the moment, right? Because people are most likely very logical creatures. Or, I mean, most people are emotional, but also humans are logical. So I think that when people take decisions, that their logics and emotions are always at the best possible state when they make any decision. That's like one of my hypotheses, but of course that could be wrong. There's a lot of stupid people out there, but even stupid people are doing their best to make the decision they think is best for them at the moment, right? But a lot of people, they look back and see that an outcome didn't go their way and they're like, damn, I'm so freaking stupid. Why did I do that? But I want to say, like, stop beating yourself over it. And like I literally said it earlier in this video, but you were doing your best at the time. You were doing the best you could with your current available information. Why are you beating yourself over following the process? Like, as long as you're following the process, a set of rules that will basically validate that decision you made, why are you beating yourself over it? Like, it's just dumb. You're just being outcome focused, right? You want to focus on the process. You want to focus on what actually over time will give you an asymmetric edge with that one decision that will compound into great results and basically makes you a higher version of yourself into the future. And a lot of people, they don't really understand this. They don't really think about the long-term vision. They want to expect these results to happen the next day. And of course, like trading is a very hard game, but this applies to like many other things when people beat themselves up over it. But in markets, it's very, very common because in markets, a lot of people who are quote unquote trying to trade, they maybe use too much risk or whatnot, and then they make a decision and they look back and they're like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? I should have actually shorted here instead of long in here or whatever the fuck. And they will always look back and be seeing themselves as a genius. And the cliche is very true, where if everybody could see the future, if everybody could see the future, everybody would be a quintillionaire or literally have infinite money, right? You will be able to be a prophetic person and see how everything will act out into the future. So just stop beating yourself up over it. Just stop it. And you literally did the best you could at the current time. And I don't know. I don't really know what else to add on to this video, except that like people just really have this hindsight bias. They really get over, like, people like me personally, as I said earlier, that I do this a lot myself. In markets, I don't really do it that much because I'm very process driven in that. But even still to this day, if I will make if I went to Christianity and I went to church or whatnot, and then I were talking to some people in like a Bible study group or whatnot, and I came in as this really abrasive person and was questioning the beliefs and whatnot, and because like at the time I was just wanting to know why they were thinking this way, but I felt like I could have been more calm with the tone and accepting more. But of course, that's me in hindsight realizing back then that, oh my gosh, I could have done better. And at the time when I was actually being that abrasive person, I thought that was the best decision going forward, because that's just my most aggregated logical form of myself, even if objectively it was not the best. Like, if you were to look at it from a scale of 0 to 100, yeah, I could have done better, but I did my best at the time, and that's what really matters, right? Of course, it's an iterative process. As long as you look back and you realize that you were a fool, then you've gotten better in character. Why are you beating yourself up then? You can't beat yourself up and go back in time and change it like that. You change it for the now. Stop beating yourself up. Instead, of congratulate yourself. Be happy. Be proud that you went through that one moment in time and realized that you were so stupid, so foolish, and now you are this much more mature person that has realized of how much of a fool you were. Be so happy, be so grateful that pain, or not trauma, but that one painful experience now fuels your growth in character to become a better person in the future. Like right now, I am much less abrasive. I think even these videos, lately I am very softer toned, more accepting, because I realize that, because like me personally, for example, I used to have a look of superiority on other people. It was really fucking bad. Now I'm very accepting of people. I don't really blame them for anything if they're in like a worse situation than me, like where it's like financially, physically, emotionally. I don't really look at them and say, oh, I'm better than them. I don't look at them like that anymore. Like me personally, like in the past, I would, like, because I've been going to gym for many years, losing weight and whatnot. If I look at a fast person, I'll be like, oh my gosh, look how fat you are, or look how skinny you are and whatnot. And I'll compare myself to them, right? And I would basically get a sense of pride, like a smugness internally, and be like, haha, I'm better than them. And that's like the carnal part of myself that is basically comparing myself to them, and drives my ego and increases my status relative to them. And I would be so smug about it. I'll be like, oh my God, look at how much better I am. Nowadays, I'm much more accepting, because people, they don't really know. Maybe they don't have information on how much of a better person they could be, and they're actually doing the best they could at the time. And people are very different, right? You can't compare people to one another. People have different scenarios in their life. Maybe they are in that situation because some shit happened. I don't fucking know, man. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. It's just a different probabilistic aggregated outcome for why they are there at that current stage of life. So I basically don't really judge people like that anymore. And that's one of my things, like a hindsight bias. And at the time when I realized that, I didn't really beat myself. I mean, I kind of did beat myself over it. I was like, how fucking stupid am I for doing that? And, you know, even like biblically and whatnot, like God will say that everybody is equal in status and they're subservient to God, basically, right? So there is no point of playing these status games and saying that you're better than another person because you have more muscle, or you have more money, or you have more fame. These very validating things that increase your status relative to each other. There's no use for this in the macro scale of things if you're subservient unto a creator. It doesn't really matter. So why the fuck are you using it as a metric of status? There's not really a reason. But that doesn't mean that you don't work for it, because as I said earlier in the money video, you go and play the games that you've been basically born into to have more option to help your fellow man. Maybe being more famous increases your wealth, and with increased wealth means you can help more people or be more generous if your peers. Share more resources, right? This is the ideal goal. This is how humans have always lived. So that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. Stop beating yourself over yourself. Stop comparing yourself to other people, and, you know, cut yourself some slack. Just be grateful, if anything. Like, accept the pain, accept how you're a fool, but also accept that you are a much better person now than before. And this is an iterative process. You never really get to a stage of life where you realize that, oh, I finally achieved everything. I finally taken care of all my shortcomings. I think even old people will always asymptotically approach their perfect form, but it takes iteration. It takes Kaizen, continuous improvement, to become a better person, to iteratively improve on the last thing. You compound for the rest of your life. You don't really stop with that, right? Well, that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video. Inspirational, motivational, ranting, yapping. All right, I'll see you guys.